All right, we are live. Everyone, my name is Daniel Fessler from Young Artist Society. We have Claude Silver from Vayner Media. She is the Chief Heart Officer there. We're going to have an awesome conversation about culture, about EQ skills, about how you treat your people so you can build them up and just make the most out of your organization. Claude, if you could just tell everyone just a little bit about yourself, and I am so excited to have you. We met in New York recently, and I am just blown away. I follow all of your stuff. Please tell everyone just a little bit about yourself.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me, Daniel, and hello to everyone. All right, my name is Claude Silver. I have been working in the world of advertising agencies for almost 20 years. I'm a trained psychotherapist, but found my way to the wild, wild west of digital in 1998. And when I made that switch to digital, I just told myself that I would keep near and dear to my heart this idea of team building, heart, and facilitating growth and change with people. So here I am at Vayner Media. I get to work with Gary every single day. We've got 700. I have the real big honor of touching and inspiring and helping them grow and develop on a day-to-day basis.
That is so awesome. And so our main focus today would be to just get some of the foundational qualities that really allow people to take the high road, do what's right. And so I just wanted to get an idea of what are the most important things that you believe are interesting and important in an organization for it to thrive.
Cool. Okay. So most importantly, I think there's an enormous amount of humility that is needed. And when I say humility, I mean not coming from an authoritative, I am the holy one space, that we are all equals. I really like the idea of a flat organization as much as we can build a flat organization. And so coming from a place of humility in that I want to help you. And obviously teachers, I think teachers, nurses are the most humble of all humble people, because you're giving of yourself every single minute of every single day. So I have no doubt in my mind that the people that are online here are already filled and fueled with humility and humanity, quite frankly. So that's the first one. I think the other one for me that's super important, that is in my veins, is the idea of holding space for other people. So what do I mean by holding space? I mean the ability to sit and actively listen with mindfulness, with presence, with some kind of peace. Listen to whatever that person is telling you, whatever they're giving you, without judgment, just in a objective way rather than a subjective way. So holding space is super, super important to me. And the third thing I would say, Daniel, and you probably know I'm going to say something like this, is patience. So super, super important to have patience, and tying back to this idea of humility and holding space for one another. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day. Michelangelo didn't wake up one day and became like the artist that could create David. That took a lot of time, I'm sure, and many chipping away at many pieces of marble to get statues as Michelangelo created. Buildings are not created in one day. The Grand Canyon wasn't created in one day. So the idea of having patience for self and patience for others, because they'll get there. If you clear away the road and you come from a place of humility and tenderness and grace and clarity, they'll get there. I truly believe people want to grow.
That's very insightful. And one of the things that I really wanted to touch on when we talk about culture in our environment, we are such a small startup and we run very lean. And so almost every single individual in our organization has to think like a CEO. And they need to take those thoughts and those qualities out into the schools so they can connect with every single person in a special way. That is really the secret sauce on how we're going to affect any heart change with people. And that's something that's really important to us. If you could touch on just a little bit, what are some of the ways that you or activities that you use to connect, create a safe space with those employees when they're coming in to talk to you, so you can build that foundation and really get the information out of them that you need to give them the insight that they need to go and win?
Yeah, perfect question, and something that I'm thinking about all the time. So this idea, you hit the nail on the head. Like, connection is the end all be all. I think that we cannot go any further without this idea of connecting with others and belonging. And something I talk about quite a bit is the Maslow's pyramid of the hierarchy of needs. And on the bottom is safety and security and shelter. And right above that, after we get those fundamentals that I know I'm safe and the lion is not going to attack me today, it's the idea of belonging. And so creating a safe space for others to come in and give it their all and bring their best selves to work is something that we're thinking about constantly here. So there are ways to do that I think foundationally any organization is thinking about, I hope, at this day and age, which is diversity and inclusivity. First and foremost, if I am talking to someone that is different than me, I want to absolutely create a space that they feel as though they can bring their all, because I'm going to be gentle, I'm going to be inquisitive, I'm going to be curious, and I'm going to share something about myself. I want to what's the word? Equalize, normalize the playing field immediately. So in a place like Vayner Media, where we have 700 people here, most importantly, when people walk through the door on day one, if they're a person of color, they want to see other people of color. If they are LGBTQ, we want to make sure that we have a pride group for them. If they have a learning disability or dyslexia, I want them to know that we have tools that they can use. If they want to nerd out, we've got a nerd group for them. We want to normalize this.
Yeah.
And get rid of the sense that other is bad. Other is great, but you need to make that space safe for other to be rewarded and celebrated rather than shamed and put into that corner. Nobody needs that. Those days are done. We don't have this. I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but like, this universe, this world needs us to bring people together in love and positivity and connection and raise the vibration and get down from there. We don't need people to make us feel terrible. We've had lifetimes of that. I don't need to tell you. You're right. So
no, that's an awesome point. And when you think about, when you have a heart to change, you realize that people need to, like you said, feel safe and then belong, feel like they belong. And so you create an environment where they see, okay, I kind of fit in here. But I believe like all of that is really to just get to them being willing to get closer to you, because once you have that opportunity, then you really show them your heart. And when they start to see that, when they start to see that you truly believe how much potential they have, how valuable they are, then they kind of start to soften up a little bit, and they're more interested in having that dialogue. And that's one thing that I love about you the most, is that you're just so dedicated to that. But there's also another side to that, and that's a lot of people, it's very easy for negativity to be louder than positivity.
yeah.
And so if you could just touch on that a little bit in your organization, when you're coming across that, and I don't mean people are maliciously being negative, but sometimes people get in their own ways, And so how do you combat that and really change that tide when you see it?
This is so timely, because I had this conversation. This exact situation happened yesterday evening. It's my last meeting of the day. And being a real sensitive person, it really ripped me up. It really tore me apart that I was face to face with someone who had no idea that they were bringing cynicism and negativity into their world. And it really affected me that they couldn't see that. I can't change their behavior. I can only do my best to shine a mirror, and not from, again, not from a place of authority, to shine a mirror because I'm looking at it. And so, what happens is, if you think about, I use this idea of the wild things, where the wild things are quite a bit. It's one of my favorite books. And the way I've always looked at the wild things is, the wild things roar their terrible roars and gnash their terrible teeth. That's the shit inside our head, excuse my language. That's the stuff inside our head that's saying, like, I'm bad, I'm shamed, I'm bad, I'm da-da-da-da-da. That voice wants to go and attract others. Tell me I'm bad, get into cahoots with me. Yeah, that organization sucks. Yeah, that meeting was terrible. Yeah, my boss is a, what. Negativity finds negativity like a magnet and will combust if we don't know how to get that cloth over it and put that fire out real quick. So some of the ways I believe, to put that fire out is, one, helping someone see their actions in that way of, being self-aware of what they're bringing to the table and how that's bringing the vibe down. Because nobody wants to bring the vibe down, right?
Yeah.
But you get caught up in that cycle of, like, you forget that, oh, whoa, because I just shared some real negativity with that person, some gossip with that person, some gossip with that person. Like, that takes the vibration of 700 people down. It then takes me and a lot of people to bring it back up. So showcasing or showing that person what's happening with their actions, I think, is a big start. Trying to build that bridge again to trust is huge, because that's where, that's what's happened. The trust has been broken some way, shape, or form. Someone doesn't think that, I'm rooting for them, or their boss, isn't rooting for them. You got to come from that place of, like, everyone is a champion here. We want everyone to succeed. We want to make everyone the best that they can possibly be. And when that vibe slips, that creates that negativity. When someone comes in here and forgets that we're already coming from a place of, yes, I believe in you. I want you to succeed. I'm going to help you get there. When they forget that due to their own wild things in their head, whatever they had for breakfast, whatever happened to them last night, like, it takes extra Wheaties for me every single day to get them back to that place. But that's the job. Recognizing people and being able to meet people where they are, and then hopefully bring them back to that place of safety and empathy and trust and connection is for me, is what it's all about. And that's how I aim to do that. I never want to shame someone, and I certainly never want to assassinate someone's character or personality, because it's not about that. It's just about the wild things.
So we talk a lot about being the CEO of your life, right? And what I mean by that is that you really have all of the control, and you're the solution to every one of your problems if you choose that. And I know a lot of times you have to, Gary talks about taking the high road, being the bigger person every single time, especially when you're right. And that's a very hard thing to do when you're right. And I feel like you specifically are taking on so much stuff from people, from employees, right? So they're trying to take the high road every time, sometimes succeeding, sometimes not succeeding, but they come to you to get that poison out. And so you have to recharge all the time. One of the things that really interests me is how you approach CEOs that come into your organization to learn from you guys, because they may not have that mentality. How are you really expressing that idea to them so it clicks to them, so they get back to accountability versus letting that negative or authoritative vibe try to run their organization?
Yeah. Okay, so two things here. Number one, leadership is a choice. It is a choice. Every single person can be the CEO of their life. It is an active choice that they need to make. Leadership is also not a rank. It is not a place of authority. It is a place where you look after other people. These are my fundamental beliefs on CEO leadership, same thing. Leaders are supposed to, in my mind, make people safe and lead with empathy. But I think we need to remember that it is a choice for everyone to come in every single day and be like, I got this. I am going to be unshakable today. So what happens sometimes when they are not unshakable, or they come in with their own bag of tricks that might not really merge that well with our bag of tricks, is, again, having the understanding and the empathy and the patience to know that it's going to take them about 3 months, 6 months to maybe shed their skin. And shed coming from that place of scarcity, no, micromanaging, control, and realizing, like, there is no micromanagement here, like, free to be you and me. You want to go run your account that way, God bless. You can do it. We ask for a couple of things here. Number one, treat people well. Do not be a-holes, first and foremost. Come from a place of respect one another and thinking the best in one another, And the other place we come from is like speed, because we are a business after all. We're in the service of clients. So we do have to be on our game. But all of that other stuff, all of that other noise just gets in the way. And, that's the stuff, like the baggage that people come in. Look, I came in here 3.5 years ago with my own baggage. I didn't come in here clean. I'm sure I had my own stuff that I had to shed, my own skin that I had to shed. So one of the things I talk about a lot with new hires and in the 4Ds and is this place that is this this premise that, and I said it already, but every single person that walks through the door is already coming in a champion. But what happens? So Gary and I already believe in them. They got the golden ticket. You're here. Hallelujah. But what happens with human beings, myself included, is can we trust that? Is it true? Is it too good to be true? Is he some kind of just shaman I see on YouTube and he's not really, chief heart officer, what's that? That's nothing. Whoa, that's so airy-fairy, whatever. That's not, like, there's so much noise when someone comes in. And so we just have to continually, this is what I do day after day, continually meet them by holding space, holding space, holding space, trying to just be humble, come from a place of, I am here to serve you. I am here, I work for you. And some way around, at some time in their journey, they turn and they get it. And the penny drops and they're like, wow, this is really cool. I get it. This is beautiful. I'm heard here. I'm seen here. I have freedom here. Wow. And they sense a sense of gratitude, which of course is the way. That's the way, by the way. Gratitude is the way out of the muck in your head, and it's the way to just continue having that beautiful day,
I love the word gratitude. And that is something that is so important to us, because there could be a list of things that you're up against today, but when you put that against the list of things that are amazing in your life, it just pales in comparison. And it puts your heart back in a place to have the energy to go and do what needs to be done. Because it's hard work. And one thing one of the words that I hate is the word fair. What we're doing, nothing is fair. Like, if you were to think about that word, it's kind of an immature word with everything that we're up against in life, in business, with what we're trying to accomplish with relationships. And that's one of the things that I love about you guys so much, is that you're like, there is no fair. Fair it's immature, and we need to gear up for the hard work that's ahead and the patience. I love that. So you talked about survival, and then we get to belonging. But what happens after people start to feel like they belong? From there, where are you molding them or trying to send them when they have issues or setbacks?
So then it's purpose. So what's your purpose? Why are you here? Why did you choose to be here? How can we meet you? So it can be anything as simple as you're an art school student and you graduate from school and you want to continue, learning your Photoshop chops and have more opportunity. And we're an advertising agency, and we're like, cool. I'll meet you halfway. I'll give you a job here. You're going to have tons of at-bats, growth, development, opportunity. You might work on some great campaigns, and you're going to give me your time and your investment and your energy and your good vibes. Cool. Your purpose is met. That's one way. Purpose is super, super, super important for all of us, right? And the other way is like someone just has a life purpose. There could be this person over here who's just chugging away, and this, you know, Fred's purpose right over there just might be to be a teacher or a lifetime learner or a father or someone that wants to, you know, show people the gifts of team building. I mean, their purposes can be multifaceted. So basically, I spend a lot of time with people, just like asking them, what are they all about? You know, what makes them tick? And I go through a whole, you know, barrage of fun exercises to get there. After purpose, and if their purpose is being met, there's achievement. So if you belong and you feel great and I feel safe and I'm ready to give it my all, and yes, I'm working my purpose and I'm getting some at-bats, and holy moly, I just wrote a great piece of copy that got picked up by Mashables or whatever, I've achieved something and I'm feeling good. Check. Great. Cool. You get that hit of dopamine. I get a little bit of acknowledgement. Maybe Gary heard about it. Maybe my manager heard about it. Maybe someone tweeted me, whatever, you know, just that little hit of dopamine. Everyone needs recognition in life, everyone. And I feel satisfied. I feel so satisfied that I'm going to come back tomorrow and I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to come back the next day and do it again. And the greatest part about this journey is that I actually had to work for it. I had to invest my time. I have some sweat on the table. I left some DNA on the floor. Like, I grinded for that because we do want to work hard. You know, we want to, we're human beings that are incredibly, incredibly resilient and incredibly strong. Yeah, I want a free trip to Bali, but I don't want to work for free. I want to give it some grit. So that is what I see as the journey, actually, to employee fulfillment, and quite frankly, you know, human fulfillment at a very, very esoteric level. But really helping people to find and acknowledge and call out what their purpose is. Because it's a guiding principle, it's a guiding light.
Claude, I just want to take a second to honor you, because when we talk about these concepts, then we tie back into the patience and the gratitude over and over and over again, because you need to refuel for how much work that it takes. I love your guys' organization. I love the culture, and I love what you guys fight for. One of the things that I want you to talk to right now is we have so many students, and when we first go into the classroom, they've never seen a class like this before. Like, the school is literally giving us an opportunity to teach them how to produce music. And we have so many things that they can use, so many resources. So what we end up doing is we're showing them what the industry really looks like. And I use your guys' company as an example, because when you think about creatives, it's very easy to think starving artist. And you guys have 700 plus people that are creatives for an industry. Nobody gets their message across from their business to people without creatives. And I just want you to address the classroom right now for the people that don't really know if what they really want to do could be successful, because what that looks like becomes very real. And then I have another question after that, but if you could just start there to give them an idea of how real those jobs are.
Yeah, totally. You actually said it perfectly, which is every single thing takes creativity. If I go back to Michelangelo, or I go back to that building that was built over there, or I go back to this bookshelf over here, or this book, if I go back to what my friend in front of me is wearing, how he put himself together today, that's all creativity. It's all the idea of creating something from nothing. And we all have that ability in our head. Like, I don't walk around the world and say, like, wow, I'm creative. Like, I should be putting, you know, pen to paper or writing a great masterpiece. But I know that I am a creator. I know that I have the ability to put my mind to use and make meaning out of something and make magic. And I also know that I need others to do that. That's what I know. Like, I'm not Michelangelo. I'm going to need a couple people to come along and help me bring my ideas to life, which is really cool, because then you built a tribe, then you built a squad, then you built a bunch of people who believe in you, or you all believe in the same piece of work that you're creating, a symphony, whatever it is. I really, really believe, I think about like my two nieces, 11 and 13 years old, like they're the biggest creators I absolutely know. Whether or not they go to Sephora and they want to put makeup on their face all day, or put makeup on me, or they, whatever it is, like children are so awesome and so expansive and willing to take risks. What happens is that we get a little bit older and all of a sudden, like, we start to compare ourselves. Have you heard the phrase compare despair? Once you compare yourself, you're in despair. You can't get out of that. Don't go there.
Yeah.
There's this other great saying, which is like, your mind can be a dangerous place. Don't go there alone. Oh, that's, I was already talking about the wild things. Like, we have to come from, we have to. I'd love it if we, including myself, can come from this place of, I can. Period.
I love that you changed your wording right there from "we have to" "we should." But if you really think about it, if we were all felt like we belonged, right, and felt safe and were ready to go, it would be okay to talk to each other like, hey, we have to get this done. Like, there is no other option. One of the things that I wanted to flush out as far as for the students that we work with is I want them to understand the characteristics of the people that work for you guys. How many of them were just, all of this was just given to them, versus how many of them had to take initiative themselves? And what do you think that journey looked like from, say, video editing, the very beginning of wanting to video edit until you actually got an opportunity to work for an amazing company like yours?
Yeah. Okay, so that goes back to our founder, who's a self-made person who came from nothing. Nothing was handed to him to something. He's created, Gary's created so many things, but he's created a house where 700 people can live and thrive. And this is the funniest, it's not even funny. This is the crazy thing. He's created this house, and we have the audacity to be negative. That's crazy. It's not even, he's given this person a chair. He's given me this room, and I have the audacity to have a shitty day in his house. Not cool. But what I'd like to say is I have the audacity to work with each and every person to open their heart, because hearts are meant to open. Bottom line, right? That's why we have these hearts. They're not meant to be encased all day. They're meant to open, and they're meant to see, ouch, possibility. I said, ouch, sorry, I just hurt my leg. And so, how many people have been given this? I think, I don't know exactly if we mean entitled. So, came from places where they went to excellent universities. There's a good portion of people that have come from that type of place. But once they come out, they still have to hustle. They still have to work for it. You can get handed something on a silver platter in life, but I would like to think you still have to put some grit into it. Like I said, investment, hard work, sweat, leaving something on the floor. Sometimes I have days where, and I don't say this to many people, I probably don't even say it to anyone, I'm just going to say it to you guys, where I know I have squeezed that orange as hard as I can, and I have given the juice out. There's only pulp. It's like dried pulp at this point. I left it on the playing field, as they say, and I've given it my all. That's what I really want. I want to see this, and that means give it their all, whatever their all means, because it's not going to be me. It's not going to be you. Daniel, you come from an amazing place of empathy and EQ and love and service and wanting to provide for others. And that's what makes you you, and that's why we've been talking and jamming like this. We can't turn everyone into that person.
I love that you use the word service, because people hear serve and they hear subservient or below, and like in a demeaning way. And that's one of the things that I just adore about Gary, is that you can tell that he truly believes that when you're on the top, you're actually on the bottom, and that you serve everyone above you.
Yeah.
Now, it's for the greater good, but it's just amazing that he has that concept. And it's something that's really hard to do.
I mean, this goes back to an earlier question, an earlier statement you made, which is Gary has the ability to take responsibility for 700 people, and that's something he's really taught me about. So when something goes wrong, or when that person had a bad day, I have to take responsibility for it. At the end of the day, I mean, am I really responsible for that? The bad thing that person said to their teammate? Not really, right? I didn't say it for them. But somehow, somewhere, there's something I didn't do. I have to think there's something I didn't do along the way to give that person enough juice, or to do enough training around whatever it was. So I learned to take responsibility. And in taking responsibility, it actually liberates. First of all, it puts a pin in the situation. But then it just liberates the entire, just frees up the all right, I've taken responsibility. That's my fault. Now can we begin?
I love that. And it's so funny. The ideas or the fears that we have in our head are so much bigger when they're in our head.
Yeah.
And so having a community of people where you can actually express what's going on, what you're thinking, let it bounce around a couple people, and they can give you some feedback. It's an amazing place to be. But let's talk about that just for a minute. I know that you don't have much time left, but one thing that I want to talk about is when people use the fancy word culture nowadays. Oh, the culture here is amazing. It's so awesome. It's kind of funny. I like conflict. And what I mean by that is when me and you work together, when we have conflict for whatever reason, and we both come from a place of humility to address it, right? We both get low and we get through that. Now we're on the other side of the conflict with trust. And if we do that enough times, no matter what the conflict is, we can know together that whatever it is, we're going to get past that to where we need to be, which is connection. And I tell that to people all the time. Are you more interested in being right, or are you more interested in being connected?
Yeah.
Because when you look at the bigger picture, being right is small time versus the big picture,
Exactly. Hey, you want to know what culture means? Want to know what the origin of culture actually means? Get ready. Cultivation of the soul. Cultivation of the soul. That to me is the end all be all. That's what I'm doing. That's what 48 years of my life has been. Figuring out what makes me me, what makes me tick, what makes me smile, what makes me grateful. Cultivation of my soul. Cultivation of their souls. That's a huge, huge, huge honor. Huge.
That's really big. When you think about the word soul, people have a really hard time defining that. And I like to think of it like it's all of the things that you can't see.
Right.
You can see that I have blue eyes, how tall I am. You can see those things. You can't see my integrity. You can't see how charismatic I am unless I show it. You can't see, the things inside you that make you who you are. And I love that you touched on that. There's so many things that I would love to talk about with you. I know that you are on a short time schedule. One of the things that I just wanted to have you speak on a little bit is the way that I got to Vayner Media that day, because it's an example that I was trying to set for my students. I told them, look at this organization. They're doing what you guys want to do. And I like this individual because of what he stands for, what he fights for every single day. If you notice, he's fighting for the same things over and over and over, because it's not just, hey, I said it and now it's out there and everyone's going to do it. We have to do it over and over again. And so I infiltrated all of your guys' accounts. I brought as much value as I could to where you would actually be like, well, give me just a moment to say, who is this person?
Yeah.
And then we start to build this relationship. And I hustled until I got in front of Gary.
Yeah.
And it's just such an amazing opportunity that every single one of these kids has if they want to do it.
Yeah.
And not be fancy about it's really just going to take hard work.
Hard work and patience is what it's going to take. And I think the real willingness. I think something Gary talks about a lot on his videos, and obviously you subscribe to, is like, and I go back to it, like, Rome wasn't built in a day. He did not, in 2005, when he was first buying the first AdWords for Google AdWords for the word wine, red wine, white wine, maybe he envisioned this, but boy, oh boy, did he have to work hard for this. Boy, oh boy, does that guy grind in a way that only he can grind like that. He can grind like that. But you gotta really wanna go for it. Like if you're a champion tennis player, you really gotta go out there for 8 hours a day and pound it. Hit like 1,000 down the line, 1,000 cross courts, 1,000 serves, you know. If you're a musician, you got to sit there and just like, play your guitar until you're calloused over. Man, oh man, you're so callous you don't even feel it anymore. All of those things. It takes such commitment, and it takes a real it takes a belief in self. There you go.
Yeah. Claude, I just want to thank you so much and honor you for what you do, the hard work that you do every day. You dig deep every single day because you're making a difference. And I really, truly believe what Gary talks about when he says that we're going to build the biggest building and not by tearing everyone else's down. And I'm just very thankful that you were able to set aside some time to talk with us today. For the people that are watching, this woman is amazing and she's extremely busy. And if you had any idea what it takes to make sure everyone's head is on straight on a $700 million revenue company, there's a lot to learn there. And so I'm just very grateful that you were able to share with us a little bit today. I am going to end the broadcast now, and then just 1 or 2 more minutes just to tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And from our whole organization, we are just so grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you, making me cry.